Surprise entrance for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble. We make our predictions here on Wrestling Reaction. Who is it going to be? We made a list of 5 to see if perhaps we can get a couple of these right leading into the big match. Let's talk about it here on Wrestling Reaction. All right, let's start with number 5. Tiffany Stratton. She is going to be one of the picks for the surprise entrance. And I think, again, we see this every year, whether it's on the men's side, whether it's on the women's side. You see, what is featured as a big star in NXT. So someone who has kind of been put in that spot, getting a potential shine in the Royal Rumble match. I don't think she's going to win it by any means, but I do think she is if you're going to pick one of the potential surprise entrants, I think she would have to be high up there if you're just picking from NXT. And again, you've got other options. I think you could certainly look at someone like Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, like all those potential possibilities. But I do think this is one that it just feels like this is the year if they're going to do it, given everything they've done with Tiffany Stratton over the past year in NXT. It seems to make a lot of sense that she would at least get an opportunity to be in this match. So I think this is a decent bet in terms of someone who will be in the match. And again, you may think it's a huge surprise, you may not, but she is someone who will likely, I would think, not be announced for the Women's Royal Rumble. So we'll consider her one of the surprises here in terms of these top 5 potential surprises for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. All right, number 4. This one may be less of a surprise now because, of course, if you guys are online, you've probably seen all the reports, the potential rumors out there. This has been going on for, I want to say, probably even a month now, about Naomi returning to WWE. Of course, she was part of, the quote unquote walkout with Sasha Banks a while ago, went to Impact Wrestling. I thought had a very good run there. I know Impact Wrestling / TNA does not have the visibility that WWE has and such, but for anyone who did get a chance to watch Naomi in that promotion, I thought she did a really good job. Came in there, had some good matches. Thought they, did a lot of good things with her. So it just makes sense that she returns to WWE, right? Because it's one of these things where Jimmy Uso's there. I think when this whole thing happened, like everyone just sort of banked on, I guess pun intended, Sasha Banks and or Naomi eventually returning at some point. Of course, we can go ahead and tie in the Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné discussion here. I'm recording this about an hour before Wednesday's edition of Dynamite, so the homecoming edition at Daly's Place. If you're watching this well after the fact, you will know if Mercedes Moné has officially debuted for AEW. If that's the case, she's not going to be in the Royal Rumble, but so she's not on this list. I'm just going to tell you right now. I didn't put her on here for that reason. There seemed to be, as we talked about in another video you can find on the channel, a lot of momentum towards her joining AEW. But Naomi seems to be a lot of momentum towards her coming back to WWE. So we're going to put her here on the potential surprise entrance list for the 2024 women's match. All right, number 3, Liv Morgan. We have not seen Liv Morgan on WWE television in a while. She last wrestled in July. She's been dealing with a shoulder injury. But it did seem like if you see some reports over the past several weeks, there has been, some momentum again towards her making her return sooner rather than later. And as always, if someone's going to return from injury, the Royal Rumble in sort of a surprise entry, getting that return pop is always a good spot because, again, the crowd's going to give the huge pop for a returning star and all that. And we know Liv Morgan has had a really good, career, especially recently when you look at, the accolades that she's achieved and everything in WWE, winning championships and such. And so I think she would get a huge reaction if she does make her official return. Now, of course, yes, we also know that there was a recent arrest and those kind of things, but that I don't think is anything that's going to necessarily impact the plans here because you could also read some of the reports that there was no backstage heat or anything like that on Liv Morgan, given the nature of it and everything. So, I don't really think that there's anything here that would sort of stop. If she's physically ready, I just feel like it makes too much sense. Again, not to have her kind of make her return here, potentially in this match. Because what you can also do, and we'll kind of tie that into the next one perhaps as well. You can start building up new programs, right? Like you can start building up fresh storylines and all that by using the Royal Rumble for it. Someone can throw you out, you can throw someone else out. There's a lot of different things you can do. So I think again, if you want to kind of kickstart that road to WrestleMania, I think bringing someone like Liv Morgan back would be a good addition to this Women's Royal Rumble match. So we're going to put Liv Morgan on here as one of the surprise entrants for the match. All right, number 2. In the top 2, this is where things get a little interesting. And maybe these are predictions, right? Like these are fun. Like we're doing these for fun. I don't have any idea if any of these women, any of these 5 may not be in there. Who knows, right? So we may go 0 out of 5 on these predictions, but we're having fun with this. It's the Royal Rumble. We do this every year. It's fun just to look at the possibilities of what you could get, because we have seen that trend over the years that you're going to get some kind of surprising ones, and this is the place to do it. So at number 2, maybe this wouldn't be a huge surprise to everyone, because we know Jade Cargill has been signed with WWE for a while now. And we know that, she's been training at the Performance Center, seemingly based on, what you hear, like getting good reviews, those kind of things. So certainly they are preparing her for something. And we know, again, maybe it's not a main event WrestleMania match or anything like that this year. But again, if you're going to kind of ease someone into mixing it up with the rest of the roster, giving her potential storylines for the future, and having some of those, I was thinking the Royal Rumble, it's like the stare down moments, right? It's the moments where you have 2 people kind of staring each other down. And the crowd all of a sudden starts buzzing, knowing that, okay, this is kind of something we've been waiting for. We've been waiting to see this potential interaction between this star and this star. There's a lot of possibilities you could do that with Jade Cargill. Like there's not just one person you could pick out. You could pick out multiple people, again, just based on who's going to be in this match, whether it is a Becky Lynch, whether it's a Bianca Belair, whether it is, keep picking down and down and down in terms of your top stars in the women's division. There's a lot of those things you could do, and you can get the oohing and eyeing from the crowd, and you get them kind of buzzing at the possibilities of a future match between Jade Cargill and any of these top women. It just feels, again, too easy to really put her in this match and get all of that right off the bat. You get that interaction, you get the crowd, kind of anticipating something for the future. So to me, they brought Jade in. We've seen her on WWE TV. She hasn't been in a match yet. This is the best way to sort of ease her into the mix, I think, especially if you have in mind something for her potentially at WrestleMania and all that, which we don't know. But I felt like I had to put her on this one because I'm like, surely they've spent the money on her. They brought her in. She's been training. It would be huge if she is in this Women's Royal Rumble match. So we'll go Jade Cargill here as the number 2 spot. And now we get to what is probably going to be the most, I would say, controversial, but this may be the biggest long shot, I think, in terms of picking our top 5 surprise entrants for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. I think this is easily the biggest long shot, but it is the one that would get the biggest reaction from the crowd. And it's one that I know people have been every year seemingly. They're like, she's going to come back eventually. She's going to come back eventually. But we know she also had a career-ending injury. She's talked all about it, whether it's on Renee Paquette's podcast, all of that. She's just said, hey, the best thing for me to do is stay retired, not take these bumps, neck injuries, those kind of things. We've seen that, the impact it can have, right? And you probably know who I'm talking about by now. We're talking about AJ Lee. CM Punk is back in WWE. He made his return to Survivor Series. The one thing that it just felt like there was never going to be that possibility for AJ Lee to come back was because of the, heat between WWE and CM Punk. Well, now that has been erased. So you take one of those barriers out of the way, and you've got AJ Lee sitting there who, she's been doing the stuff, the training for the Heels show and all that. Now, she's not taking, WWE like bumps or anything on that. So she can certainly protect herself in all those things in an acting role. But can you still get her in the match here and not have her take a bump? Let me just say up front, I think if this were to happen, which again, I think is a long shot. I'm saying that straight up here, but we're putting her in here because I think it's fun to think about as a potential surprise entrant. If she were to be in this match, I don't think it's going to be anything more than a one-off. Like it's a one-off appearance. You get the huge pop, you get the return, and that's it. Like from everything she said, she does not anticipate, unretiring. So if that's the case, I can't imagine this is anything more than just a, hey, kind of like the CM Punk thing. Like we never thought it would happen. We kind of maybe never thought the AJ Lee thing would happen because CM Punk and WWE, the relationship there. But if you just get it for this one moment, right? You just give the fans what they want, this huge moment. They'll never forget it. Even if she doesn't go on to wrestle a match for WWE ever again, you at least get her in there, and maybe there's a way you can maneuver it to where she can get eliminated. She doesn't have to take a big bump or anything like that. I think those are possibilities, right? And if there's anything we've learned under the Triple H regime, it's that you expect the unexpected and you never say never. We would have thought the same thing with CM Punk. We would have thought the same thing with some of these other different dynamics. So I'm going to keep that out there until that door is officially closed and AJ Lee does not show up at the Royal Rumble. I'm going to put that into the universe and say that she's going to make our list of top 5 potential surprise entrants for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Who are your picks for the surprise entrants for this year's Women's Royal Rumble? Let me know in the comments below. Always enjoy the discussion. And again, some of these could be longer shots than others. Like I said, the first ones we started with, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, Liv Morgan, I think those are good possibilities. Jade Cargo, maybe. We'll see. AJ Lee, maybe the long shot. But there's a lot of fun things you think about when it comes to Royal Rumble surprises. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. So appreciate you watching as always. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Lots of Royal Rumble coverage and all kinds of professional wrestling coverage. Here we're making predictions for all these different things surrounding the Royal Rumble and upcoming events. So do that. And again, hit that like button as well. That helps us out here at Wrestling Reaction. We're a new channel. Love talking professional wrestling, and we appreciate you watching. And we'll talk to you again here soon at Wrestling Reaction.